which are up on 18th Street, Orange Avenue.
These are other housing sites.
Well, over there where the British touristers were shot and killed, and
That's on the course.
shootings that are going on over there all the time.
But
Oh.
behind Bertha Mitchell, there is this wide open space, where now apparently the dirt bikes are coming through with regular.
Well, that problem may not be as intense as it was once.
Why is that?
But our, Mr. Wessel has to hire contractor, get 3 bids to put our own speed bumps in, because it's not city property, so, because the people won't slow down. And they're going on one-way streets, both ways, going over the yards, children are here and there.
Here's the thing.
They were going in the parking lot, the playground over there.
One second, please forgive me.
The playground over there, the dirt bikes were going into the playground. I'm sorry, I'm Ann. Fault check. The children were not safe.
So you did call the police? The police?
It's been reported.
It's been reported. What did the police do?
Ben, one of our council leaders, Ben, he's a maintenance worker over there, he reports all this stuff.
Mhm.
Nothing was done, nothing.
They even got the pictures of the people.
Pictures of it.
Yeah, cameras.
They
You know.
didn't, when did this happen?
It's been ongoing.
Ongoing. So since December 31st, the new chief is here. Have you reported it since then?
We don't know. We
We're
don't
been
know.
to have a meeting, luncheon, I believe, in
The
19th.
19th.
Well, mention that to the new police chief, because I think she's quite responsive.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, well, she just might wrestle those guys off that bike herself.
Well, Peter's right, she might do that. But Ann, I think here's a greater issue in my mind. I think some neighborhoods, and I don't say this necessarily as a criticism of anybody, but some neighborhoods maybe are listened to more than others. And I think that's what our job is as commissioners, is to speak for those who don't get the respect or are powerless, to make sure it gets done. Now, I have confidence everybody up here would do that. But that's what our job is to do. If some aren't taken seriously, I believe if one neighborhood calls, police would jump at it. Some maybe, we'll get there, bye-bye. But that's what we're here for, is to make sure that those who aren't taken seriously get the same priority as every citizen of this city. That's what our job is. Now, having said that, I do believe our new chief police, so far, I believe is very responsive. I don't know how, where she gets the energy she has. I wish she would give me some of it. But she's like everywhere. I'm surprised she's not here right now. But if it does get swept in the rug, that's why we're here to do that. And so
She is.
I heard
hands-on.
she's
She'll give you,
effective.
and she'll give you her cell phone.
And she's new and this.
And everything that happens, I don't care what you're saying, if someone's doing a dirt bike, you call her, she'll be over there. It's amazing in her relationship with our new city manager, and it makes it easier for us as candidates and as commissioners. Wow, proactive, very proactive. And I think of Chief DePino as everybody's police chief in the community.
She sure is.
Everybody's, and it's work.
Feel free to jump in.
Oh. I thought I spoke on that.
Okay,
You did.
but, yes, tell me your name.
Barbara.
Barbara.
My question is for Susan.
Suzanne.
Suzanne, I'm sorry. I do have 2 questions separate. With all due respect, I have no doubt of your abilities, but my question is to Commissioner and Mayor. Would you have to give the one up if you were elected to the commission?
What- Excuse me, I'd have to
Would
get.
you have to give up being a mayor?
Oh, well, I have to, no, we do not have an elected or strong mayor, form of government. I was elected 2 years in a row by my fellow commissioners. I happened to be elected 2 years in a row, which was an honor. And then it is up to my fellow commissioners who's whatever the body is going to be in probably May. They will elect a new, mayor and vice mayor. It's not giving it up, it depends on my fellow commissioners, who they vote for. But I've been honored to have it done, have them voted for me for 2 years, and I've taken full advantage of that.
A lot of hats.
So you
My
can do
second-
both positions at once?
You
like-
can, oh,
Can do.
no more power. I have no, we're all equally, we all have equal power. I have no veto. It's basically ceremonial, even though I think I've taken it to a different level because I've met hundreds and hundreds of people. And it's about relationship building, how to become an effective policymaker, relationship building, and I have done that. I'm everywhere, and I think that's important. You take that, people's concerns back to the table, and I've done well by that. But no, I don't know what will happen when we have the statutory meeting and we elect, we swear in the 2 new people, and then we will elect a mayor and a vice mayor, and it will change.
And I'm breaking the rules, I probably shouldn't be praising a fellow, but she's been a great ambassador. Having that title, she is, by all accounts, she's done a great job, and so she's been great at that, so.
But you never know what will happen next. It's just, we're not elected by the citizenry. It's the way it is.
My second question.
Wait a minute, Mr.
Where-
Tyson, a comment? No.
What was,
It was directed to.
But the question has to be.
On the left.
Oh, okay, but that's a good question.
Well-
No, it's a really good question.
what you're kind of talking about is resign to run. And her position is not one where she would have to resign to run. She can run and keep the position she has.
Right, because I am the mayor right now and a sitting commissioner with no more power, but you're right, I still have a job, that's why it's, running for commission is fascinating, because I have a full-time job running, the meetings and going to commission meetings. So it's amazing, because I've not done it before.
It's 2 different.
Well, it's interesting because as I'm campaigning and meeting all of you in all neighborhoods, I'm continuing to learn more. And as mayor, I'm invited to speak at so many venues in all neighborhoods. So I learn more, and then they get to see me and learn, well, okay, they can, challenge me on an issue or say, what are you gonna do about this? That's a good thing. Because it helps me
You had a
build
second
mine.
question. What is your second question?
I'd like to know where do we stand as far as the Walmart on New Lane? That's
They can speak to it, I cannot. It's quasi judicial, based on competent and substantial evidence and standards of review, and I know that sounds, but we are gonna be dealing with it Monday, and I cannot say anything about it. I cannot even indicate my vote.
I'll try to explain it the best that I can. Obviously, there's some concern from some of the residents of Alta Vista about whether Walmart meets the current zoning, and so the city commission will be dealing with that Tuesday. I think.
That's right,
This
Tuesday evening is 6 o'clock.
So and so you have different groups reading the same code, but drawing different conclusions, and so it's the commission's role to decide what it is, and so, now, did you have more questions, whether report or
The new-
against?
I thought that our local news reported that they did get approval.
They did, the planning board. Oh, this is, what we're doing is, they filed for a de novo hearing, which means clear out everything the planning board did. It's de novo means of new information. We're gonna hear a brand new, hearing on it. Planning board voted 3-2, site plan, because that's all you needed. And it would have been done with it, Walmart would have gone up. However, the neighborhoods filed, so we
Appealing
have to do
that,
it,
so-
we have to appeal it.
Appealing that.
Mr. Tyson?
I live in the neighborhood whose association filed. And I personally, I spoke at that meeting. I said that I would like to see the site plan changed. I said I would like to see the store face into the property and have the truck docks out at the road, preferably out at the road close to the railroad tracks. My reasoning for this was that this is the furthest away from bedrooms. On the other side of the property, there are 5 houses on the one side of the street, and then there are maybe 5 or 7 houses on the other side. So if you were to take the property like this, that's property, and this is north, and here is where they were going to put the Walmart, facing north, and with a retention pond behind it, up to these houses. I wanted to put it up here, over to the tracks, with the truck docks in the back, so the trucks come off of Ringling and then just go right back out on Ringling and Lime, when they leave, so they wouldn't be exposing the neighborhood to truck noise.
In truck fumes. and
So
exhaust.
you're saying the same as Publix was set up?
On the
No.
shopping could be on the second floor.
No, the
And then the
Publix was,
trucks-
the Publix was down toward, Shopping Way.
Right.
North of, was it, I know, but tell.
Here it is.
I mean, we all know.
Here was Publix,
Oh.
here's where I'm suggesting Walmart, but I was the only one who thought that was a good idea.
Oh.
Now, there's another neighborhood association, which as far as I can tell, has only one member. And this member appointed himself president, and nobody came to any of the meetings, so there was no opposition. Perhaps his wife is the vice president, but talking to them both, I thought they didn't quite agree on the Walmart issue. But anyway, this one man owns these 5 properties at the edge of it, and the word is he's trying to sell them to Walmart, so, but that's just gossip. So,
I know one of the people that owns the house back beyond Shake or
yeah, well,
Shade
anyway,
Circle.
yeah, anyway, so it's
That-
like there's
This isn't owned.
as many opinions as there are people. And that's unfortunate, because then you get in a situation where nobody's agreeing on anything. But my own personal opinion, I do want Walmart there. I would like to see that site plan change, but not to the point where Walmart says, like they said the last time, oh, these people are too crazy, we're out of here. So I would like to see Walmart, but I would like to see the site plan change, but nobody agrees with me.
Well, I can tell you that you could be a voice for it. Many people who live here, we would really like to have that Walmart.
And why?
Convenience. It's a Walmart.
Name
The
all
bus
these
comes- the
shops.
bus
So
goes
we
to
can
the
go and
bus.
pay $8 for a pair of shoes versus, and they can go in their scooters,
Yes.
versus going to Main Street and paying $300 for a pair of shoes.
We don't do
Okay,
And,
which we
and
can't do.
transportation for the people who ride the bus,
Yes.
cause the bus, it would literally be at the front door.
Mhm.
And I get the sense that they are definitely some who want to see it there. I personally think it would be a good
Well,
thing.
we don't care, why can't a Payless go there? Some Payless and some things that we don't have to go downtown and spend $10 for a lunch. We have lunch, can't we get a Payless up there and then whatever, if they don't wanna put a Walmart, a Payless shoe store and maybe a couple of dollar hamburger places or something. And what about the new, I understand, I didn't see it myself, about there's gonna do away with a church up on Bee Ridge and, Geneva for a Walmart, but a neighborhood market Walmart, not a big one. So they're gonna tear a church down
Just make a store.
and make a
Okay,
Walmart.
Anybody else with a question? I have a question that, oh, I'm sorry. I have a question that I asked of the other candidates last week. I am very concerned that, I went to a District 1 meeting, and at the District 1 meeting, what they said is the renovation of Booker High School had, they were so proud that there were 24 or 26% of Sarasota residents were employed there. That means that 70+% were not Sarasota, I don't mean city of Sarasota, I mean county of Sarasota. That 70+% were not Sarasota residents. And I went, at the opening of Kingstone, I happened to talk to one of the people who was on that construction project, and I said, is this true? He said, absolutely. Not only that, you know, the people who were hired, a lot of those from not here, were undocumented workers, and say what you will, he told me, and that first time I understood that, it's a safety hazard. Because if you can't speak the language, you can't warn other people, workers, about the dangers that are involved. Suppose something's falling and you're running away, you can't say. That was the first, so my question concerns what is your stand on Sarasota preference only for workers, not only on construction jobs that are, have government money, but also on City Hall? Because I know that in certain departments of City Hall, it seems that people from the neighborhood, say in Manatee, all seem to come from one neighborhood in Manatee County, in Bradenton. So what is your position on Sarasota preference, on construction, at City Hall jobs, for City Hall jobs? And I also want to know, in your campaign literature, where did you go for the printing? Did you make it a city of Sarasota local, or did you go outside the city?
Good question.
You looking at me? These came, y'all can have one. Pass them around. These came from a print shop at the corner of Lime and Fruitville called Minuteman Press. Go ahead and pass them around. I kind of like their service. It's good. Now, the City Hall problem. That I understand has been tried. And they found that they didn't get any applicants from within the city.
I'm not talking about the city manager or the city police chief. I'm talking about people at the level of the Department of Sanitation, people who drive the trucks. There are no school crossing guards. There are no qualified people in the city of Sarasota to help kids cross the street. I'm not talking about big. When you want to search, you want to get the absolute best. But I'm talking about the level of regular jobs.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. They put out the request, and although there may have been people qualified, for some reason they didn't apply. So if they don't apply, what can you do? Yeah, I'm certainly in favor of a policy, but what do you do if you don't get any?
Does it stand posted?
Well, no, it doesn't.
Is that's?
Well,
I
there
don't
you
mean to
are.
be the questioner.
Well, there you are. I mean, you post the opening and nobody, and I understand it was even advertised in the paper.
So what would you do to change that? I mean, how would you make it so that more people become aware of the jobs?
Well, if you have openings, you'd always advertise them. However, it might stop being a problem real quick. And the reason it was stopped being a problem real quick was because the city is $459 million in the hole. The city might reach a point where they have to not only not hire, they may have to lay off. I wouldn't favor this as something we would just actively do, but with that kind of a deficit, can you even imagine $459 million? That's a lot.
Is it
That's
the
uncommon.
employment office that just doesn't promote jobs?
Promote those
Well,
jobs.
I mean,
Can I-
people are in there.
Well,
Jobs,
with
etc.
the school, with Booker High School, that's under the jurisdiction of the school board. And their contractor, they hire, and they hire who they want. However, I do know that there were concerned citizens who fussed, and we probably wouldn't have got that percentage if it had not been for a number of people. And I was at one of those meetings saying, hey, hire local. Now, why that many were hired, I couldn't tell you. I don't know if, some of these companies operate regionally and have people that they work with years of expertise, or people didn't apply. I can't speak to that, but in my perfect world, I would always give preference to local people, to spend money locally. If it was up to me, if I had control over it, if the expertise is here, let's use it. And as far as my campaign literature, my cards and my brochures, they were done local here, Mercury Printing. But, we probably wouldn't have gotten that percentage if it had not been. That was in some of the community meetings that were fussing and saying, hey, hire local people and use local contractors or whatever. And so, did they make the best effort to do that? I don't know, but we might not have gotten that if it had not been for fussing, but maybe we have to do a little more of that.
What? Like, can you give me an example of what you might do like, if there's a job applicant, my thought was give him 10 points because he lives in the city of Sarasota when you're grading
Well,
the
now,
applicant.
now, if you're speaking of the situation like at Booker High School, as a city.
No, well, city jobs,
Mhm.
I understood what you said.
You mean in hiring for the city? Oh, well, that, I think we would probably always hire somebody local who needs to do city work. Now, if you're talking about contracting for other things,
No, I was
that's
talking
different.
about city.
You know, and I hear you, and my printing's local. A lot of it has to do with affordable housing and how people living here, looking for work. I mean, of course, I would like to, and that's really surprising, the number you gave, quite frankly, on Booker. Yeah, that's
what they said at the
amazing.
district one
Yeah,
meeting.
yeah, no, and I was there, and I.
It was Sean.
Yeah, that's interesting, because obviously, and as Calvin says, in an ideal world, we want more local. But I'm also concerned about who can live in the community, and you're right, the higher level hires from city manager, police chief, all the top level direct reports, they can afford to live in the city. We need to be mindful of how do we bring people to the city, and of course downtown, and then hopefully beyond, and that's all part of what we do with zoning and tweaking our zoning, bringing people that can afford something that's much lower than $1 million condo, in downtown. That, I think we need to really talk about, is how we bring people that can live here.
We just opened Kingstone.
Mm-hmm.
We just opened Diamond Oaks.
Okay.
I mean, we did that. This is affordable housing.
You
There
bet.
are openings at Janie's Garden.
Right.
There are openings and people could go and live there immediately. New hires if you want.
And I agree with you, that should be, and there's something going on there, there's something underlying that, why can't they? I mean, obviously, affordable and attainable housing is a more global issue, but still, we need to be mindful of that, but I hear you, I do.
and that's why we.
What would you do to advance the preference? Sarasota, at least the city should hire city people as a preferential.
Well, first thing I'm gonna do is, we have a new interim, HR person. Kurt Hoverner just left after many years as the director of HR. We have Stacy Mason now, who is interim, and I know her very well. I would love to sit down with her, it's interesting, and talk about what are ways we can market and draw people into the city. This is a new day in City Hall with all our hires, which are high-level hires, most of them. However, how do we, you know, that's fabulous, and it's a new day in City Hall with these fresh eyes. How do we, I can sit down with Stacy and say, what do you think? How do we do this? This is a problem, and maybe to start with HR, what are they doing to bring people in? How are we marketing our community? That kind of thing.
But you have to, because when Art was on the charter review committee,